This is Shannon Lobello with the Fuze magazine, and I'm sitting here with Saving Abel. Thank you guys for sitting down and talking with us and taking the time to let us ask you some questions. So, first question, how has tour been going for you guys so far?
Wonderful, if you ask me. I mean, they've been selling out a lot of shows, and people have been real happy, very supportive. We can actually tell that rock and roll's making a comeback.
We can, and it's been, we've done a lot of shows in the last couple of years where we didn't have support acts necessarily that people had heard of. So I think having bands like Veer Union and Smile Empty Soul, the rooms are getting bigger, the tickets are selling better, and just like Scotty said, I think it's a testament to the fact that rock and roll's on the way back.
Seeing younger age group of people supporting it too. Mm-hmm. It's nice.
Which is great. I mean, I'm 32 years old, so like back in my day, you guys were huge, like everybody was huge, and now you have a lot of the other bands where it's more like the whole emo kind of feel and everything like that. But I like the fact that metal/rock is definitely making a comeback. It needs to, especially in the Syracuse area. One of the venues that was huge for all metal was Lost Horizon in Syracuse and the Half Penny Pub, and then a lot of bands weren't coming to there, and now we're starting to get a lot more rock and metal bands, which is phenomenal. And the fact that you guys are here in Pennville playing is a huge thing especially for this area, because people from Syracuse, we have people from Syracuse, Utica, Rome, Cicero, Camden coming out from there to come see you guys. So that's huge. That is a huge thing.
It's awesome.
It is. It's great. It is great. So with the new album and everything, how does that differ from the previous albums? How do you feel that differs from previous albums that you guys have released?
Well, the first thing is Scotty came out and hammered it out with us, him and Steven, as new members about 2 years ago. And then we went into the studio in a rush and put out what I thought was a great record. But we're working on a new one now, and I think we'll be able to answer that question for you a lot easier in a few months from now, because we're working with a guy named Johnny K, produces bands like Disturbed and Pop Evil and things like that. And we're actually, and we say this every time that question gets asked, but you don't have the suits sitting behind the desk making the calls, wanting to hear every little thing you've done every day and pushing it in a certain position or place. So we are actually taking control of music, and it shows, because I wouldn't say it's better music, because I've loved everything I've ever written and recorded, but it's different for, I think, Saving Abel, and not in a bad way. And I don't think it differentiates too much from our original sound either.
So I think it's important, though, when you do have the band and your manager who supports you 100% and backs your music, where you guys can actually make the music that you want, and you don't have the suits behind you telling you, no, this is what's popular on the radio, this is what you have to veer towards. So for you guys to be able to play what you want and write and play what you believe in, that's huge. That's a big thing. Like what you guys did at one of your last shows, where there was an issue in one of the other venues that you guys played, where you ended up having to do where you guys did an acoustic set to, just show your loyalty to your fans and to the music and everything. Can anybody touch on that, about that event that happened?
I think that, these things happen all the time. Sometimes promoters bite off more than they can chew. And the thing is, it's never the fans' fault. It's not their fault. They spend their hard-earned money to come see us play. So we sometimes have to jump through hoops, and we always try to keep, this is a business first and foremost. Granted, we love what we do, but we're artists on top of running a business. And so when business has to be conducted at the end of the day, we had, our manager Ryan, that was his idea. And it was a way of kind of saving the day for everybody. We managed to pay the other bands out of some float that we had, so they didn't have to take a hit. And we just wanted our fans to know that ultimately they were the most important to us. And we gave that promoter a lesson. Made him come up on the bus, made him explain what he did, tell him how he can promote better in the future. And ultimately, we made him go on stage and apologize to the fans and refund the money.
He manned up.
And
he did man up.
Bartlett said at the beginning too, this kind of stuff happens all the time, but you don't hear about it because and I'm not tooting our own horn, but I will this one time. Not many bands will grab an acoustic guitar and go out and sit on some chairs in front of the bus and play for the people that came for free just to make them happy. Because we know they didn't understand, excuse me, didn't understand everything that was going on.
Right.
You may have to help.
Well, here, yeah.
I'm alive. I'm good.
Arms up like this. This is what
I'm
we do
good.
in the doctor's office. We always say arms up.
And woosah. No, I think a lot of people, and probably younger bands, but even bands our age and older, would just have angst in their heart in a situation like that and go straight to Facebook and blast everybody. And we were, that post, we didn't write it. The Beer Union guys stood there in front and watched the whole set. And they posted that about us. And we were like, that's so nice of them to post. So we just shared it, and it went viral.
Yeah.
And like Jason said, we weren't looking for credit for it. We were looking to give our fans what we felt they had earned.
No, that was my point.
Yeah.
It happens all the time, but you don't hear about it because bands just pack up and get out of town.
It ended up being a pretty magical show.
I think
Yes,
that was-
we were sitting out there because everybody has to be quiet because it's literally just acoustic guitar.
Yeah, we even shut off the bus generator.
Unplugged.
We were completely unplugged.
But so that's great though but that just shows your dedication to your music, to your fans. You have a very strong manager who is all about music, fans, and keeping the good, the good name. Because yes, that definitely does happen. I know that I've been in that situation going to shows before and something has happened. It's like, oh, well, I'm glad I traveled, 8 hours away to go see one of my favorite bands and I don't get to see them.
Right.
But that means strong management and communication, and the other bands that you're touring with, they support you. So that's awesome that you guys did that. And that's very rare that you guys see that. And I've seen you guys like mingling with the crowd tonight, and that's amazing. That's another very rare thing that you see a lot of times with bands, where they won't mingle, they won't go out and mingle and things like that. Like, that's absolutely amazing that you guys
That's the
did
strangest
that.
thing to me is that people are always asked, they're like, wow, why are you in here? Like,
Why not?
because I like to drink beer and listen to rock and roll like everybody else.
No, that's amazing.
We're rock and roll fans,
Yeah.
and we like the people that like rock and roll because we get along with them.
That's
That
right.
kind of people.
They think just like us.
All right, I'm going to ask you each individual questions. Rock or metal?
Rock.
What's your favorite rock band?
Favorite rock band? I hate all the genres, but I gotta go with the Allman Brothers Band.
All right, old school.
Dwayne Allman.
There you go. Rock or metal?
I'm kind of like on the fence, and I love Seven Dust. So Seven Dust.
Dust. Rock or metal?
Rock.
And?
The Rolling Stones, I think.
Ah, old school again. Rock or
I
metal?
could go on for days. I mean, I
Pick
could
one.
be country. I could, Prince is one of my favorite artists. And
Oh,
it
he's just-
saddened me to,
yes,
it's really
God
saddened
rest
me
his soul, he
to,
just passed away.
yeah, to hear that yesterday. But there was one band that actually made me pick up guitar and want to play again, and it was a band called Candlebox. They still had a little bit of the 80s going on, but they brought in a little bit of the Seattle sound with them. So it made the transition into Pearl Jam and all that stuff more palatable for me, which kept me interested in music. And I was, of course, back then you played cover tunes, so that, then it made it okay for me to work up songs like Teen Spirit and go play them for people.
So Nirvana?
But Candlebox,
Teen
Can-
Spirit?
yes.
Teen Spirit,
just
yeah.
miss
It's
They
by,
did
no. It is by Nirvana.
Okay.
He's saying he would work up.
Oh,
that
okay,
cover
okay.
song.
Candlebox led me into that genre
Yes.
of music because they had enough of the the hair
Seattle
bands, the 80s
sound.
style,
Yes.
left in it to make it okay for me to learn and begin to like what they were calling the Seattle sound. So.
Definitely. Like, I definitely love 80s metal. Like, I'm a huge I love Scorpions.
How do you not like the Scorpions?
Oh, yeah. Well, so it's alright. So it's like, they're
His
playing
voice
in
is
North
amazing.
Carolina.
That
They're playing at
wins
the
a
show.
change. He sings.
But see, like, I'm big into Swedish and Finnish metal, so that's my genre. But Candlebox, when they played in Watertown a few years ago, I was actually at that show because one of my friends was in a local band that opened up for them. So that was a really cool thing because Candlebox, back from my day, it was like a huge thing. I was so excited.
Yeah.
Just like Stabbing Westward, they're playing in
I didn't know they were
Chicago
back together.
in September, and I can't wait. I'm going to see them. I'm very excited. It's like Stabbing Westward. You haven't heard from them forever.
It's like early 90s.
I know, but it's exciting. They're doing a one night show only, and I'm excited because I like when those bands where you haven't heard from them in a while, and then all of a sudden they make a comeback. I do.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's great.
Yep.
So, you guys pumped to play tonight? You guys got a good crowd. Like it's packed here. You guys are feeling it?
We're ready.
Good?
I'm ready now.
I'll feel it
There
more
you
once that Jack
go.
Daniels bottle.
There
opens
you go.
up.
I appreciate you guys sitting down and taking the time to sit with us, let us interview you, and thank you again for all of this. You guys have been absolutely amazing. I would like to steal your hat for at least 2 seconds so I can close out.
Okay.
And I just put on my hat. I'll give it right back.
I'm
I
just
promise.
warning you, you're not gonna be able to see.
It's okay. No, I'll be able to see. It's okay.
Ignore the smell. You'll be fine.
There's a new sheriff in town.
This is Shannon Lobello with the Fuze magazine with Saving Abel. Have a great night, guys. Rock on.